Hey, y'all need a break. Listen to these stories from r/AmITheA-hole. Am I the a-hole for telling my fiancé if I see her friend again, I'm calling the cops? Me, 29 male, and Erica, 27 female, dated for 2 years and have been engaged the last 4 months. After we got engaged, Erica moved into my house. I still pay the mortgage while she pays for utilities, groceries, and household items. After we get married, the plan is to put her on the house so she gets equity as well. Her friend Leah, 27 female, and her, have been best friends since high school. I don't particularly like Leah but have also been cordial as I know she's gonna be in my life. My issue is Leah thinks of my home as hers. Couple examples. She always brings her boyfriend over and he's a sketchball. She talks to me in a very disrespectful way in my own house, like I'm a guest and she and Erica own it. One day I went out to my garage and some of my tools were missing. I checked my camera and Leah and boyfriend were in my garage with Erica and took some tools with them. I asked Erica and she said they were just borrowing and would return them. I had to reach out multiple times for them to finally return the tools weeks later. I have a nice wine/liquor collection and I was working late one Friday. While working I heard some clanking of bottles together. Erica wasn't home so I went out to see what was up. Leah was behind my bar. I asked what she was doing and she said that Erica told her it was okay to borrow a bottle of wine for her party and that she would pay it back. I told her no, that wasn't alright, and to leave. I asked Erica about this and she said, I don't remember telling Leah she could take a bottle but I might have, I don't remember. I told her at this point I wasn't comfortable with Leah being in my house. Erica sorta understood but also blew me off. Final straw came when I wanted to go hit some golf balls and my clubs were missing. I freaked out because I golf regularly and my clubs are my biggest investment. Went to check the camera again and Leah used my garage code and took the clubs. I blew up, called Erica and told her to get them back immediately. Erica said Leah had asked for the garage code to grab some clothes from her closet and not my clubs. I threatened to call the police but Erica stopped me. Leah kept telling us that her boyfriend needed them for a work thing. I got them back almost 4 days after they were taken and they were dirty. At this point, I sat Erica down and told her that if I see Leah in my house again then I'm calling the cops, no discussion. Erica got upset saying that it's her best friend and that wasn't fair to do to her in our house. I said it's a pattern, and since Erica's stuff isn't affected she doesn't care. I said she can go over to Leah's if she wants to see her. She said she can't do this because Leah doesn't like her apartment and Leah's boyfriend is always there, which makes Erica uncomfortable. I'm now getting the silent treatment and getting called an a-hole, but I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Update. I want to thank you all for the kind words and comments. I knew after reading the comments that it was time to come to a resolution. I decided to drive home from work and talk with Erica. When I showed up Leah's car was parked in the drive. I went inside and they were watching TV. I told Leah immediately to get out. She tried to argue but I told her if she didn't, then I'm calling the police. Erica tried to get pissy that I kicked her friend out, but I said I'm done talking about Leah because at this point, nothing is changing with that relationship. Sat Erica down and showed her this post. 20 minutes of reading later I asked her what she thought. She said, those people don't understand our relationship or Leah. I knew then that it was over. I asked her to hold out her hand and I took the ring off. She begged saying she is sorry and she'll cut Leah off etc. I told her I can't even trust her with the garage code. How am I supposed to trust her as my wife? She's locked herself in our room now. I'm in the kitchen packing up her things. I called her dad/mom telling them about what has happened and they were furious. Leah is apparently banned from their house and has been since high school. I didn't know this but her parents said it's been like this since high school. They are coming this weekend to get Erica and the stuff. I couldn't be any happier than I am right now. A huge weight feels lifted off my shoulders. I felt like if I never made this post, I wouldn't have ever seen how messed up my life had become. Sincerely thank you everyone. Can't wait to take my clubs out and play around now that I have more free time. Really excited to see what single life brings and can't thank you all enough again. Do not put this woman on the deed to your home. Heck, don't marry her. You don't have a Leah problem, you have a fiancé problem. Time to move on buddy. Not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for telling my son the truth about why my wife stopped talking to her parents? Her parents always looked down on me and I can somewhat understand why, given my past and how me and my wife met. At 23 I was a homeless man. My wife was the first person who was nice to me. Almost got kicked out of this small restaurant when I was trying to avoid the rain. She was there and pretended that we were meeting so they'd let me stay. Got a free meal and we talked for a long time. She really helped turn my life around, stuff like helping me fill out job application. From there we became good friends. 2 years after that, after getting my crap together first thanks to her, I asked her out on a date. Her family never approved of our relationship because they thought I was trash due to how my life was when we met. Which again, I get it. But after 4 years of us being in a relationship, me having the same steady full-time job to help with the bills for years, they didn't even come to the wedding. Then when my son was born a year after, they still wanted nothing to do with us. So we haven't had contact in years since my son was a baby. Now he's 16 and they contacted us out of the blue. They still don't care to talk to either me or my wife, but they were willing to put their feelings aside to get to know him. We never went into details with him about why we don't talk to them, and he's never asked much before. We left the choice to him if he'd like to meet them, and he agreed to it. He's gone over to spend time on several occasions the past 3 months. Finally, the other day he asks us why we didn't keep contact with them. To him they seemed like nice people, so he doesn't get what the conflict was. They told him we stopped talking over a conflict we had, but left out that they were the ones who didn't want to see us. So we told him the truth. My son already knows about my past. That's something I never wanted to hide from him. We told him they never approved our relationship because I used to be homeless and they never wanted to be part of our lives since then. He got mad at them, now they're mad at us. My son doesn't want to talk to them and they sent us screenshots of some of the things he told them. No insults or inappropriate language, but just what he thought of them. And they think we're a-holes because they were finally building a relationship with him and we ruined it. For now my son says he doesn't want to be involved with people like that. We've talked to him several times, he still hasn't changed his mind. It was my choice to tell him why and my wife supported that. Now with how things have turned on, I wonder if I was an a-hole like they seem to think I am. Not the a-hole. You shared the truth. If that reflects poorly on them, that's because they are a-holes. What a great story, by the way. So great that you were able to get on your feet, find love, and have a family. Am I the a-hole for not attending my daughter's gender reveal for her lizard? This is literally really stupid, but she's really upset about it. So my 48 daughter, 23, has a blue-tongued skink who she heavily adores. She jokingly refers to it as her daughter. I found it weird, but she says it's because it's the closest thing she'd have to a child, and she feels a strong emotional bond similar to a child. She has decided to remain child-free for multiple reasons, and I have been very supportive of this decision. Well, she recently took her skink to the vet for a checkup and she was excited to find out her skink's gender. Afterwards I got a text asking if I'd come to her gender reveal party she was having. She explained it was just a small get-together with cake and food for her friends she hasn't seen in a while. With the gender reveal being mostly a joke, and a way to make fun of real gender reveals. Well, I didn't come. I didn't see a point. It's just a lizard and I'm a busy person. She later called me and expressed she was kind of sad I didn't come cause it'd been a while since I'd seen her, but she understood I was busy. I told her she couldn't actually expect me to come to a gender reveal for a lizard. She said that it wasn't a real gender reveal, that was more of a joke and it was really just a small gathering to catch up with everyone. I told her if that was the case, she should have just called it a gathering because I'm not coming to a gender reveal unless it's for a real granddaughter. She got quiet for a minute and then turned my words around, claiming I wasn't supportive of her decision to be child-free. I told her she can't possibly expect me to treat a lizard as a granddaughter. She said she didn't expect me to, but it was clear I didn't respect her bond with her lizard and her decision, and she just wanted to see me and my reason for coming was hurtful. I told her she was being ridiculous over a lizard. She claimed it wasn't over the lizard and it was a gathering and not even centered around the lizard, but I stick by to what I said. It's ridiculous to have a gender reveal for a lizard. She hung up and I got a message from her best friend about how I'm an a-hole for treating her that way, but I don't think I'm the a-hole for not wanting to go to a party for a lizard. Edit. In the time I was away I got many replies and it was a lot to read through. Let me clear a couple things up. My issue is that she said the party was a gender reveal. If she had called it just a party I would have come. But calling it a gender reveal makes it sound like it's for the lizard, and I'm not going to that, even if it is a joke. I don't know why it matters, but the skink is a girl, which is why I said, I'm not coming to a gender reveal unless it's for a real granddaughter. Even though I don't agree with my daughter for being child-free, I have been supportive and only shown mild frustration. The reason she decided to be child-free is she claims she's asexual, she just doesn't want one, she has emotional baggage and feels unable to care for a real child, she fears pregnancy, and she has a carrier gene like me and doesn't want to go through what I did. I had 4 miscarriages and a highly defect child that died after 3 months due to the gene. Yes, there has been slight tension between us, because I think she just hasn't found the right man. She never dated growing up, and her other fears are unnecessarily exaggerated, but it's ultimately her decision and I don't resent her. We haven't seen each other in 3 months. I'm a single mother and we have always been close, which is why she invited me with her friends. I just didn't want to go to a party with a lizard, and if it wasn't for the lizard, she should have called it a party instead of a gender reveal. Okay, so. First off, this is probably the most interesting topic I've ever seen on this sub. I didn't wake up this morning thinking, I hope I get to weigh in on how the social contract relates to gender reveal parties for reptiles, but here we are. If this was as straightforward as the title suggested, you wouldn't be in the wrong at all. A gender reveal party for a lizard is just, well, it's silly. Gender reveal parties in general are silly, this one is double silly. It's fun, it's cute, but it's silly. However, your daughter did make it clear to you that she was jokingly hosting a gender reveal party for a lizard. What she was actually doing was hosting a small get-together and she wanted you to come over. She made it pretty obvious from the get-go that she really just wanted an excuse to have a small party. So, and I love that I get to use this sentence. Let's remove the lizard genitals from the situation. What your daughter was actually doing was inviting you over to spend time with her, and you declined because you're a busy person with important things to do. You didn't like that she jokingly called it a gender reveal party, even though it had been made clear that it was just a get-together. You took a stab at her choice to be child-free. She's obviously not presenting this lizard as your granddaughter. It wasn't necessary to say that you'd come to a gender reveal for an actual baby. Basically, you got so hung up on the silly name of the party that you completely ignored the intention and made your daughter feel like crap. So yeah, you're the a-hole, but it's not because you won't be there to celebrate the revealing of the lizard genitals. It's just because your daughter wanted to spend time with you, and you brushed her off, cats in the cradle style. Edited to add, your edit made this entire situation worse. Congratulations. With just a few sentences, you managed to demonstrate that you were entirely hung up on the name of the party. Despite being told multiple times what the purpose of the party was, you couldn't live with attending a party with a silly name. Prove that you are not, in fact, supportive of your daughter's decision to be child-free. There's a difference between being supportive and only witching about it a little bit. Invalidate your daughter's sexual identity. She's not asexual, she just hasn't met the right men yet. But I think my favorite part was towards the end, where your daughter provided multiple very legitimate reasons not to want children. Not wanting kids, for one, but also a fear of pregnancy, genetic issues, and a maternal history of devastating loss. You suffered 4 miscarriages and lost a child in infancy. How in the world could you, as a mother, want your daughter to suffer like that? Everyone keeps mentioning the Iranian yogurt, but after reading your update, I'm prepared to say it. The lizard genitals are not the issue here. Am I the a-hole for being ungrateful of the cake my boyfriend made me? I, 33 female, have been dating a man, Alex, 34 male, for almost 3 years. Alex has a 13-year-old daughter from a previous marriage that he has full custody of. When we met, Alex was doing very well, he made 6 figures and he had a decent house in a fine neighborhood. I had a slightly lower paying job. Almost a year and a half ago, his job had to cut some employees and he was one of them. He had to take on a job and he earned much less than he had before. I moved into their house 5 months ago. Since I moved in, I have helped a lot with the bills, usually half or more of them. Yesterday was my birthday. I wanted to celebrate at a nice restaurant near us, however it was closed. There was another one a little closer to us, although it was more expensive. I suggested going there for my birthday to Alex, and he said that he couldn't afford to pay for dinner there and if we went, we would need to split the bill. I was a little upset but he said he would make something himself. The cake I wanted was, admittedly, somewhat expensive. I pointed it out to him, and he said again that he didn't think he could afford it with Christmas coming up and we'd have to go half. I told him I wasn't paying for a cake for my own birthday, and he said he'd see what he could do. Well, yesterday came. He made dinner, and it was quite good, better than most meals we eat, although not as good as what it would be at a restaurant. However, when he brought the cake out, it was just something he had made himself. He said he was sorry he couldn't afford the nicer cake, but he had made this one and his daughter had helped. I pretended to enjoy it, but after, I told him that I was hoping for a slightly nicer cake. He said he had tried his best and he couldn't spend the money he had set aside for bills on a cake. I guess his daughter heard because now he's also saying that I made her upset after she helped make it. He keeps saying I should apologize to her and say that I really liked it. Am I the a-hole? You're the a-hole, wow. You sound conceited and unappreciative of what you have. I would consider a homemade cake and meal much more of a heartfelt birthday gift than someone forking out $200 on me at dinner. You lucked out with this guy, but be careful because it sounds like you don't realize it, and soon enough he will end up with someone who does. Edited to add, wow, thank you everyone. This is my top performing comment ever. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments.